So, guys, I have been here for more than 2 weeks in Switzerland now, and I would like to give my inputs and opinion on my experience at the supermarkets over here. As far as I can gauge, there are two main supermarket chains over here. One is Migros, and the other is Coop. There are a few high-end and other supermarkets and food halls and food chains, but these are the two main ones I think that you're going to come across in some of the main cities over here, whether it's Lausanne or Geneva or maybe Zurich. So now I have been exploring some of the supermarkets and some of the positives and some of the negatives they have been occurring to me, and I would like to share the same. The one issue, of course, is language on the articles and food products, and whether it's cheese or whether it's milk or whether it's cereal. There are three languages that are predominantly used: French, Italian, and German. I have not come across any English descriptions of products, so that can be a little problematic if you are not familiar with any of these languages. So, what I have done is that I have downloaded Google Translate from the French to English, and this Google Translate has a camera interface, so you can point the camera of the app to the product display and description, and it translates. But over here, it is important to identify which language you're going to point at, because if you're going to point at Italian or German, so then it's not going to translate, and it's going to try and translate, and it's going to translate into something which is not going to make any sense. So it is important for you to recognize which part of the display is the French part, and you will need to point the camera of your cell phone on the French portion so that it is translated, and I mean, even simple things like, what is the percentage of fat in the milk, whether it's 1.5, 3.5, 2.5. So, I mean, there's some word called le gras, which means fat. Now I was pointing at the German and the Italian part of the display of the box of the milk Tetra Pak, and it was translating into some funny words that I could not understand. So then I figured that one has to point towards the French part of the description. I've seen that the staff, especially the lower staff at these supermarkets, they don't know English, and if you ask them for any because some of the supermarkets are quite big, so if you ask them for any sort of help on where a certain product might be displayed or kept, they are not going to be of much help. So it's better to just walk around the supermarket and figure out which section is for what. You can try sign language, but that sometimes works and sometimes does not work. For example, I went to a Migro and I asked one of the staff to tell me where almonds are. So just to make it simpler for her, I sort of pointed at my biceps, and I sort of made some, I mean, I sort of said, almonds, so little nuts, but she took me to the section where the kitchen appliances were there. So it is very difficult to communicate with the staff at these supermarkets. So you need to be a little careful about that. And the best is Google Translate, and it is for you to just find your way around, and then after a while you can figure out. There's a lot of automation at the supermarkets. A lot of automation is there in India also, but over here the automation is for pretty much everything. You can scan the products on your own, you can check out on your own, you can pay on your own, so you don't have to take the help of the cashier. Even the doors and the entries, everything is automatic. There's no guard standing over there and trying to sort of frisk your belongings. You can take your own bags. You don't have to leave your bag at the entrance, your laptop bag or handbag or whatever. I mean, the trust factor over here is very high. They assume that you're not going to steal anything, and or put things in your bag. So I know in places like Spencer or even La Marche in Gurgaon or Delhi, they insist that you leave your laptop bag or your handbag at the entry, and sometimes they frisk you also. But over here, the I think the general trust is much higher, and probably because the people don't steal or not expected to steal, or I don't know. I don't think people steal in India or in Gurgaon, but it is just that the trust factor over here seems to be more. And as far as the products are concerned, now I have been taking a look at the various products that are on display. There's a huge variety in everything. There's a huge variety in milk. There is a huge variety in chocolates and cheese. I mean, that's quite predictable. There is a huge variety in fruits and vegetables, but my personal opinion is that the fruits and a lot of the fruits and vegetables are not very fresh. I think the vegetables in India are much more fresh because I think there is not too much of local produce over here. Most of it is imported, but some of the fruits and vegetables are really really good. Oranges in particular are very nice. The bell peppers are the best I've had in my life over here. And the milk of course is really good, and the chocolates are very nice. There's a huge variety in cereals. I have not tried the meats till now, because the meats over here are very, very expensive. They are almost 10 times the price in India, and probably about 5 times the price in UK. I was in Sheffield recently, and I think that if I need to eat a lot of meat, I'll probably need to go to Sheffield in UK and buy meat over there and get it over here, or just have my fill over there and come back. For as an instance, I'll tell you that a box of prawns, probably about 500 grams or 1 kg, is almost 10 times as expensive over here than it is in Sheffield and in UK. So the meats are expensive. The wines are cheap. I have been consuming a lot of red wine, white wine. Some of the exotic wines that are considered to be very expensive in India are quite cheap over here, very affordable, but still more expensive than what you may get in rest of Europe. And especially, I have got experience of buying stuff in UK, and I can tell you for sure that they are still more expensive than what you get in UK. So net, there's a lot of variety. There's a language issue, and you need to be careful about the vegetables. Some of the vegetables I feel are not very fresh, because they seem to be imported from far off lands, maybe in Africa. For example, the flat beans and the French beans. The French beans I bought recently. They're expensive and they seem to be hard, and they didn't have the kind of aroma that you have from beans in India. The Indian chawal dal, everything is available over here, and particularly in some of the bigger Migros and Co-op. And again, more expensive. So if you are a frequent traveler from India, I would suggest that you carry some chawal and dal with you, and so that you can save some money. So I'm going to be. This is still early days for me in over here, and probably there are other markets. I've heard there are farmer markets where the produce is fresh and cheaper. So I'm going to be checking them out, and I'm going to be giving my feedback on that too. Thank you.